Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Miss Betty, and also our beloved friends. We are from Group 11. We will present the material about school budget. Before we go to the materials, I will introduce our member of group. The first is me, Rika Indriani. The second is Puput Kistiani. The third is Kusumah Ingwahyu, and the last is Sophie Anindya Putri. Okay. Next to the first material, there are school funding search. Understanding the search of education fund. The search of the education fund is all those who provide subsidies and contribution received by school institution, either from official government search or from their own communities on a regular basis. Education funds are obtained from three sources, namely found from the central government, local government, and the community. Search of education fund. The first is central government fund. The search of fund from the central government is from the state revenue and expenditure budget or APBN, both to finance routine activities listed in the activity list or DIK and the development activities listed in the project list or DIP. In addition, there is also financial assistance from the central government in the form of school operational assistance or BOS. Second is local government fund. Fund from the local government come from the district or city level APBD. Funds from the APBD are used to support activities in the education sector in the area concerned, both for the routine activities and for development activities. And the third is community fund. These funds are usually non-binding voluntary contribution from members of the school community who are concerned with educational activities in a school. For example, there are CSR or Corporate Social Responsibility Program, grants, and also wakaf. Funds from students' parents. Funding from the community is known as committee contribution. The amount of the fund contribution that must be paid by the parents is determined by the school committee. In general, commit funds consist of first, monthly fixed fund as contribution money that must be paid by parents every month as long as their child is a student at the school. Second, incidental fund, charged to the students who are usually only once for 3 years as a student, include the payment can be paid in installment. And the last is voluntary fund, are usually offered to parents of certain students who are generous and willing to make voluntary contribution without any strings attached.
The next material about the use of school budget. From the first, the use of regular post must be based on agreement and joint decision between the principal post team, teachers, and the school committee. Second, regular post funds received by the school every quarter or semester can be planned to be used to finance other activities in the next quarter or semester. And the third, the use of regular posts is prioritized for non-personnel school operational activities. And for the last, schools are required to use part of the regular post funds to purchase main textbooks for lessons and teacher goods in accordance with the curriculum used by the school. Next, about regular posts are not for the first, kept for the purpose of interest, and then two, loaned to other parties, and third, purchase software or for regular post financial, and the fourth, reporting or similar software, and five, rental of data collection application, and others. they are not a priority for the school budget. Okay, next, material about components of regular bus financing for elementary school. For the first about library development, first about main textbook provision of companion textbook, buying non-textbook, subscription to related periodicals of publications either off or online, maintenance or purchase new book or collection, improving the competence of staff, development of library database and electronic, and the last, maintenance of furniture and air conditioners. For the second, about PPDB or new students admissions, costs for PPDB include, for the first, PPDB activity cost, the registration of all new students, and the second, the cost of introduction of the school environment for all new students. Next, about learning and extracurricular activities. For the learning in the classroom and studying academic knowledge, for the extracurricular additional activities outside of lessons to train students' talent and interest. Next, about learning and extracurricular evaluation. Learning evaluation activities that can be financed include daily test activities, mid-semester test, end of semester test, grade promotion test, USBN, and evaluation of extracurricular activities before it. Next, about school management, purchase of learning tools and materials that are useful in the learning process. And the next, about professional development of teachers and education personnel and development of school management. For the first, about teacher working group financing or KKG, and the second about the cost of attend workshop seminar, and the last about the cost of holding seminar workshop. Next, about power and service subscriptions, cost for paying electricity, installation service, and also Wi-Fi internet. And for the last, about infrastructure maintenance, repair and maintenance of learning equipment and infrastructure, classroom and school. Next, about honor payment, honorary teacher, administrative staff, librarian, laboratory, UKS officer, school guard, security, and janitor for all new students. Next, about learning and extracurricular activities. For the learning in the classroom and studying academic knowledge, for the extracurricular additional activities outside of lessons to train students' talent and interest. Next, about learning and extracurricular evaluation. Learning evaluation activities that can be financed include daily test activities, mid-semester test, end of semester test, grade promotion test, USBN, and evaluation of extracurricular activities before it. Next, about school management, purchase of learning tools and materials that are useful in the learning process. And the next, about professional development of teachers and education personnel and development of school management. For the first, about teacher working group financing or KKG, and the second about the cost of attend workshop seminar, and the last about the cost of holding seminar workshop. Next, about power and service subscriptions, cost for paying electricity, installation service, and also Wi-Fi internet. And for the last, about infrastructure maintenance, repair and maintenance of learning equipment and infrastructure, classroom and school. Next, about honor payment, honorary teacher, administrative staff, librarian, laboratory, UKS officer, school guard, security, and janitor. And the next, about purchase or maintenance of learning multimedia tools. For the first, purchase a desktop computer or workstation. And the second, purchase a printer. And the third, purchase laptop, maximum one per year. And the last, purchase a projector with maximum 5 per year. I think enough for my material. Next material can be delivered by my friend.
Okay, next to the third material, there are school budget analysis. School budget analysis. School financial budget items adjust to the provisions of the budget items contained in the post-fund rules, as well as other related funding search. Procedures for the use of each sort of fund differ according to the applicable standard. The first is BOSS, or School Operational Assistant. The use of regular BOSS in schools must be based on a mutual agreement and decision between the principal BOSS, regular team, teacher, and the school commit. Second, regular BOSS funds received by the school every quarter or semester can be planned to be used to finance other activities in the next quarter or semester. Third, the use of the regular BOSS is prioritized for non-personal school operational activities. The fourth is schools are required to use part of the regular BOSS fund to purchase main textbooks for lesson and teacher guides in accordance with the curriculum used by the school with the following condition. There are primary textbooks must be purchased or available at the school before the new school year begins. School must reserve a portion of the regular post funds received in the first quarter and or second quarter for school that receive regular post every quarter, or in semester 1 for schools that receive regular post every semester to the school account for payment of main textbooks that the school has to buy. The textbooks that must be purchased by the school. There are the main textbooks that have been assessed and have been determined by the ministry. The purchase of the main textbooks is adjusted to the needs of each school based on the obligation to provide the main textbooks. The use of funds whose implementation is an activity. The costs that can be paid from regular costs include the procurement of office stationery or duplicating materials, the cost of preparing the place of activity, honorarium for local research person according to local general cost standard, and or official travel and or provision of consumption for the commit and research person if needed and in accordance with the provisions of the legislation. Provisions related to professional service, honorary research persons can only be given to research persons who represent office agencies outside the school, such as regional quarters or Quarda, the Regional Indonesian National Sport Committee atau KONI, the National Narcotics Agency or BNN, the Education Office, the Health Office, religious element, and or other based on a letter of assignment issued by the agency he represents or is authorized to do. Procurement of facilities and infrastructure by school must follow to the standard of facilities and infrastructure and applicable specification. The use of funds that are carried out in the form of physical work Costs that can be paid from regular posts include payment of artisan wages according to local general cost standard, material, transportation, and/or consumption. The unit of the cost for spending using regular post funds follow the provision set by the regional government. And the second is equipment and supplies. The use of funds whose implementation is in the nature of activities, procurement of the office stationery or duplication material, cost of preparing the venue for activities, honoraria for local research person according to local general cost standard, and or official standard and or of provision of consumption from the committee and the research person are in accordance with the provision of law and regulation. Invitation.
Okay, the next material is accountability mechanism. School carry out accountability by making an accountability report or LPG by the school and reported to the provincial government from the use of fund. Accountability for the use of fund can do by recording and collecting evidence of transaction, both receipt and disbursement. Each transaction must have a valid proof of payment in the form of a receipt or invoice from the supplier of goods, complete with a signature and with stamp. Internal supervision is done by the school itself, the principal and deputy head of the manpower sector, to oversee the course of educational program from the school in accordance with the RQIS that has been prepared. The process of financial supervision is done by direct monitoring of the funds to be used of each use of funds that will be carried out by school residents must be approved first. Then the funds that have been proposed that can be dispersed through the treasurer. External supervision of financial management is done by parties from the government, in this case the Education Office, the Inspectorate, the Superman Audit Agency or by PIKI, and the Financial and Development Supervisory Agency or by PKP. Next material is example of making a KIS or School Budget Activity Plan. There is an example question. An educational institution has made RQIS. The institution consists of 20 teachers and 200 students. The monthly teacher salary is 1,005,000 rupiah with tuition fees of 150,000 rupiah. At the time of administration of new student, the institution collects a registration fee of 50,000 rupiah for one student and handled by one operator with a salary of 700,000 rupiah per month. For tuition fees, each student buy a quarter book, 15,000 rupiah, 2 ballpoint pens, 2,000 rupiah, ruler, 4,000 rupiah, tip ink, 5,000 rupiah, and pencil, 2,000 rupiah. Meanwhile, for manufacture of learning support media required a cost of 300,000 rupiah per month, and the cost of buying track is 1 million for a year. How to plan school budget activities? Okay, I will explain how to do for the question before. I'm sorry, I will use bahasa. I think it more easily to you to understanding the answer. Oke teman-teman, nampak terlihat tabel itu merupakan rencana kegiatan anggaran sekolah. Nah, perlu teman-teman ingat, yang perlu dicatat adalah hanya biaya-biaya pengeluaran. Biaya-biaya atau penerimaan tidak dicatat di anggaran sekolah ya. Jadi ada bantuan pemerintah uang pos, SPP per bulan itu tidak dicatat. Hanya dicatat pengeluaran pada sekolah tersebut. Yang pertama ada uraian mengenai biaya honorarium atau berupa gaji-gaji terkait di sekolah tersebut. Di soal dijelaskan terdapat guru dan operator. Gaji guru per bulan adalah 1.500.000 karena rencana anggaran kas ini dibuat 1 tahun, maka dikalikan 12 bulan untuk 12 guru sehingga ketemulah 360 juta. Lalu terdapat gaji operator yang mana hanya 1 orang. Jadi hanya dikalikan 12 kali 700.000 dan ketemulah 8.400.000 dan di total menjadi 368.400.000. Selanjutnya ada biaya pembelajaran siswa sudah dijelaskan, terdapat buku kuarto, pulpoin, penggaris, tip ek, dan pensil. Masing-masing elemen dikalikan dengan jumlah siswa dan kuantiti per elemen ya. Contohnya itu ada pulpoin 2 maka ditulislah 2. Buku kuarto 1 maka dituliskanlah 1 ya. Dikali dengan jumlah siswa yaitu 200 dan masing-masing harga. Sehingga terteralah hasil pada tabel di atas dengan total biaya pembelajaran siswa ditemukanlah sebanyak 6 juta. Lalu biaya pembelajaran siswa sudah selesai, lanjut ke media pembelajaran atau media penunjangnya. Tertera di soal adalah 300.000 dikalikan dengan 12 karena 12 bulan adalah 3.600.000. Selanjutnya ada biaya pembelian obat. Karena di soal sudah tertera untuk 1 tahun, maka kita tulis untuk 1 tahun sebesar 1 juta. Sehingga total biaya honorium, biaya pembelajaran siswa, dan biaya obat adalah 379 juta. Sehingga anggaran sekolah pada tahun tersebut adalah 379 juta rupiah. I think that's enough. Thank you for watching.